we're not set in the market. We know that demand is a negative relationship between price and quantity demanded. At a high price, little will be demanded, and at a low price, the quantity demanded will increase. Supply is a positive relationship between price and quantity. At a high price, much will be supplied by the producers, and at a low price, less will be produced. But neither the law of supply or demand determines by itself what price will actually determine. Instead, we have to take the demand curve, the behavior of consumers, and put them in the market. We have to put, which is a negative relationship between price and quantity. Then we have to put supply, a positive relationship between price and quantity, reflecting the behavior of producers. And at that price, and that price alone, the quantity supplied will equal the quantity demanded. P sub B and Q sub B. Okay. So this is equilibrium. At too high a price, the law of demand says there'll be a negative relationship between price and quantity will fall. But at too high a price, it encourages the production of producers, so the quantity supplied will rise, and there will be too much in the market. This extra amount is called a surplus. If the quantity supplied is 100, and the equilibrium quantity is 75, and the quantity demanded, let's say, is 60, then the surplus will be 100 quantity supplied minus quantity demanded of 60 equals a surplus of 40. Alright, for too low a price, supply, demand, quantity, price equilibrium, quantity equilibrium. If the price is too low, then that will encourage more people to demand the product, and the quantity demanded will rise. But the lower price will discourage producers from producing it, and so the quantity supplied will fall. So in this example, if the quantity demanded is 100, the quantity equilibrium is 75, and the quantity supplied falls to 60, this amount here, this distance right here, measured from this axis, is a shortage. There is not enough being produced because the price is too low. The quantity demanded of 100 minus the quantity supplied of 60 will result in a shortage of 40. Occasionally, the demand curve shifts, or the supply curve shifts, and that will result in a new equilibrium. So supply, demand, if it's not price that's changing, but instead number of consumers, income, taste, expectations, substitutes, complements changes, we go from D1 to D2, and that will result in a new price quantity combination. And this is quantity equilibrium 1, and this is quantity equilibrium 2. And that's what we're going to explore in this video, the shifting, where equilibrium comes from, and how we can determine it. So in this video, in this handout, hopefully you've printed out, we have changes in supply and demand change, market price, and quantity. So we're looking at the gasoline market to find out how many millions of gallons consumers are willing and able. You have to have both to be in the market. And how many gallons suppliers would be willing and able to produce at every price. So when price is if the price of gallon gas, here's a price, but here's consumers representing demand, and here's producers, which represents supply. At $1.25, the price is too low, and so consumers are demanding more quantity than producers are willing to supply. There will be a shortage at this price. 55 quantity demanded minus 25 quantity supplied will be a shortage of 30. At $1.75, the price is above equilibrium, and so that higher price causes consumers to reduce the quantity demanded, but it provides an incentive for producers to increase the quantity supplied. In this case, there will be a surplus. 55 will be produced, but only 25 will be demanded, and that's a surplus of 30. But at $1.50, the equilibrium quantity demanded is equal to the quantity supplied, and that's equilibrium. You could graph that in the area provided by providing a supply curve and demand curve coming over, and this is $1.50, and this will be 40 million gallons, and that's the quantity demanded, that's the equilibrium. At equilibrium, the price is $1.50, and the equilibrium is quantity, and it's also known as the equilibrium, the market clearing price because at the market clearing price there is neither a surplus nor a shortage. Assume that sports utility vehicles gain popularity, and that at every price consumers want 30 more. So what you would do is at $1.25, instead of consumers wanting 55, they would now demand 85. Instead of demanding 40 at $1.50, they would now want 30 more for 70. At $1.75 originally they wanted 25, but now they want 30 more, and that would give us 55. Originally at $2 they wanted 10, but now they are interested, the tastes have changed, and they want cars that consume more gasoline. Add 10 to the new extra amount, that gives us 40. And if the price were $2.25, consumers would have wanted 5 million in the past, but now they want 30 more, and that gives us 35, 1 and 31. Now at $1.50, our original equilibrium, the quantity demanded now is 70, but producers are only willing at $1.50 to produce 40, and that gives us a shortage of 30. Quantity demanded minus quantity supplied, quantity demanded is larger, a shortage results. Instead, now the equilibrium is $1.75, where both 55 million is demanded and 55 million is produced. So what happened here is there was an increase in demand from D1 there was an increase in demand from D1 to D2. Given one supply curve, originally the equilibrium price was $1.50 and the equilibrium quantity was 40. But because of this increase in demand, because of an increase in the popularity of SUVs, the equilibrium price has risen to $1.75 and the equilibrium quantity has risen to 55. Alright, so now let's say that's the new equilibrium, $1.75 and 55. So here on this graph, we'll start with supply and demand, $1.75 and 55. Now, two oil-producing countries go into war, and so now producers are only able to produce 30 less at every given price. So we have to look up our schedule here. At $1.25, the supply curve was 25. 40 at $1.50. At $1.75, it was 55. At $2, it was 70. 85 and 90. I'm just taking the supply curve, the supply numbers at the old prices and carrying them over to this table. Right. But now what's happening is producers want to make 30 less. There is a decrease in supply. So this number of 25, you can't have less than 0, so 25 minus 0, 30 is 0. 40 minus 30, the 30 is only 10. 55 minus 30 is 25. 70 minus 30 is 40. 85 minus 30 is 55. And 90 minus 30 is 60. This is a shift in supply. It's a decrease because of war. Movement to the left. Don't think up and down. You'll get it wrong. If you think up and down, you may think this S2 is an increase, but it's not, because the number is getting closer to the origin. So now we have to discover what our new equilibrium is. And it turns out that it's no longer at $1.75. Because at $1.75, consumers want 55, but producers are only able to produce 25. That's a shortage of 30 million gallons. Instead, the new equilibrium is at $2, where consumers want to buy 40, and producers are willing and able to make 40. So this would be 40, and the new equilibrium price is $2. And that is how you work from a demand schedule and a supply schedule to determine equilibrium. And then things that shift demand are number of consumers, income, taste, expectations, and substitutes complements. Things that shift supply are rotten weather, resource costs, other, like war in this example, taxes, technology, expectations about future prices and costs, number of producers, and weather.